So I guess we can talk a little about the fact that Agricola is in beta to start with. It's been developed at a very quick pace, in my opinion. The developers, TSAC and Vincent T, have been great and fixing bugs on a daily basis. I've been able to interact with them on more or less a daily basis, actually. So I've felt very fortunate to be able to have a hand in making sure that this implementation goes as good as possible. There are still bugs here and there. Pretty rare, but they do happen. Most of the rules are implemented correctly. Okay, hold on. Alright, we don't have everyone. What was I saying? Yeah, the developers have done a good job. There's a lot to do here. Okay. Gonna get started fast here, I guess. Just want to finish that previous thought. Okay, so yeah. It's a pretty solid implementation in my opinion. We have a couple rules to iron out here and there where the developers have said something stupid and that needs to be fixed. Partially due to Scholar, and then Sheepwalker is not finalized yet. Sheepwalker is still broken. You're not supposed to use it quite at any time. Okay. How much food do I think would be an appropriate balance for Caravan to be okay? 12? This is a really good first pack, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that can combo. So Marushka, yeah, I think is right to ask to not draft Caravan. I think if I don't get confirmation from these two players, I'll draft it and not play it. Okay, so you say easy Storehouse Keeper? I'm not convinced. For one, we have bad seat position at this table. We are first in round one, but I think I would rather just till. And we have Marushka in front, which means somebody actually knows how good Reedstone food is here. So I'm going to pick Scythe Worker. So Assistant Tiller is just one of the best cards in the meta game of the base set. It has a lot of combos with other day labor cards, but without easy crops such as with Scythe Worker, I'm not sure how much I like it. Okay, so here Master Bricklayer and Brushwood Collector can both do some serious damage. I think Bricklayer is smoother. Or higher potential, though again, playing a game with Marushka involved. Marushka's definitely familiar with the revised edition of cards. So this isn't exactly the best game where I can show a bunch of skills. It's a game where myself and Marushka are going to be showing highly advanced Agricola skills against the other players at the table. This set is its own unique metagame if you ask for my strategy tips. I expect to put out a video with Rainier in the near future on how to play this set of cards the best. Okay, so there is a assistant tiller combo, or rather a day labor combo, with Cottager here, but I think the pick is definitely Grocer. I don't know what happened for Marushka to have a third pick that's better than Grocer. Grocer is very flexible, very strong. Yeah, I think Assistant Tiller is good enough for day labor for me here. I can't guarantee something like Loam Pit to come in the minors, so... I have the best plow help, and Sheepwalker came back, which is definitely cool. I like Sheepwalker a lot. I don't especially need it here. I have my stone partially accounted for with Master Bricklayer. I have the Grocer for the vegetables, but I think a block pick of Sheepwalker is better than going for Small Scale Farmer and better than Carpenter hoping to wheel Brushwood, because Assistant Tiller is already my round 1 play. I am in the first seat here. Sitting behind the other strong player is not a great place to be. Alright, Roughcaster is maybe the second worst card in the whole deck. Lutenist is not far behind. Easy adoptive parents here. Alright, so it looks like we are mainlining into a crop strategy. We have flexibility to slam down Big Country if we need to. Not needing to take Oven Firing Boy is why Draft 8 exists. It's a fairly good hand. I should be able to fight for House Steward if it's in play. If there's a Conjurer in the game, then Lutenist is okay, but yeah, it's underwhelming. Conjurer being the only Traveling Players card, and in Revised Edition I find that food piles up on Fishing and Traveling Players a lot more often, though in the early stages of people playing on BoardGameArena, that's not necessarily the case. Alright, without knowledge about Caravan, Sleeping Corner is a good thing to find here. We have Fields and Crops. Mantelpiece and Bottles are high ceiling cards, which mean they're pretty useful, but I'm not sure if I really mainline into either of those. Sleeping Corner seems good here with Clearing Spade on the wheel, maybe Mini Pasture. Really like that Nuevo has agreed to not pick Caravan. Not sure if Crazy sees it or not. Alright, excellent. So we have managed to have a ban list here, and that's another advantage of Draft 8. We can try to agree on this kind of stuff. I do have a fairly good hand for Caravan, though I would have taken Small Scale Farmer if I was really angling for it. Small Scale Farmer instead of Sheepwalker, maybe. Passing Sheepwalker sucks, but... Alright, so now with Sleeping Corner in hand, I feel a lot better about playing a Big Country strategy. If I get the chance to, I will, but... We have Marushka in front of us, so he probably knows how that works, and I don't expect to see it. I don't really need anything here except Lumber Mill or Butter Churn. Both of them require at most 3 occupations, so I shouldn't worry about that. Threshing board, shifting cultivation, corn scoop, large greenhouse, sack cart all help me get crops and fields, but I've got that sorted in better ways already. Butter churn's pretty solid in this set. Compared to the original butter churn, saves a wood, gives a point. But lumber mill is very strong. A lot of these minor improvements cost wood. Hey Fulmiko Tone, what do I mean by big country strategy? Big country is a minor improvement that is enough of a point ceiling boost to warp any player's strategy. And the goal is to fill out your farm as fast as possible. I have the best helper for that in the base set with Assistant Tiller. This is the best plow helper in the game, in the base game. None of these looked appetizing to me. I will consider de-drafting Moldboard Plow here. I'm not a fan of Clay Pipe in terms of power. Bread Paddle I like situationally, but I'm not sure this is the right game for it. Maybe it is if I do have Lumber Mill down, but I think I can get Bread Paddle last pick and de-draft Moldboard Plow. Plows are pretty tough to get in this edition, this base set edition, and revised in general. Okay. Big country. 4th. Marushka's being nice. I don't know what Marushka's doing, but he's being nice. We have a sleeping corner, we have an assistant tiller. We're going big country. I didn't like intend to play this strategy. Admittedly, maybe my drafting leans towards it as a possibility better than like my drafting strategy adapts for the possibility of better things later. So now we have a plan for this game. And this plan is to play Assistant Tiller and plow a bunch, take wood, plow more, don't build a room, fence a ton, play Sheepwalker and after Big Country, Sleeping Corner, Adoptive Parents to get my people in the endgame. It's going to be a fun one. Clearing Spade's good. Mini Pasture, I probably have enough food for. Because I was going to use all my Assistant Tiller food to crack open the grocer. But saving 4 wood using 2 extra food seems like a great choice here. Right, like, we don't know what's in Marushka's hand. There are so many bad things that could be, bad things for us that could be in Marushka's hand here. I don't think I want shifting cultivation. The difference in the field is 4 food because I could take day labor or spend 2 food. So I will take what will hopefully be a free threshing board point after I play Lumber Mill. And intend to actually trigger its effect no times. So, Crix, you think the D-Draft is bad for Moldboard Plow? Did you want me to take Lasso? Like, this is... It's underwhelming. I'll take Lasso in case I get something like 2 cows with my growth. I do expect to have extra reed because I don't need to take reed a single time and I can renovate to stone with enough reed. Definitely don't need to play Brushwood Collector. And we didn't see Caravan in the draft, so it must have just not existed. Love to see that. Let's get out to 67%. Get the whole view here. And let's run our game plan. With Sheepwalker, can you convert the sheep to vegetables when you grab them? The rules, or the errata version of the card specifies that you cannot do that. The current implementation of the card allows me to do that, and I'm going to play it as if it won't allow me to do that. It needs to be fixed still. That's part of why this is in beta mode. We still have these little rules issues that need to be resolved, but compared to what was originally around, this is pretty good. Storehouse Keeper second move, and Reedstone Food third move. Oh, are these players actually playing well? Do we actually have a solid game? I wasn't sure what to expect when we got two newer players in this game, but I'm happy to see, you know, solid competition here. All right, so the extra actions are on top. What is my farm layout? This is pretty nondescript. Marushka probably knows what I'm up to already, which is pretty funny. You're cheering for for Storehouse Keeper now? Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything different, Rainier. Storehouse Keeper can be underwhelming in Revised. I remember the first time I looked at Revised power ratings, Storehouse Keeper was below 1 power. Now, I think that's probably not correct compared to its true strength, but Storehouse Keeper is just one of like 10 or 12 ways to get grain in 96 cards. And it's not like Reedstone Food stops being good for other players, so. Okay, so to clarify, I did not get Manger in my minor improvements because it was the same pack as Big Country. So I don't need to put that into my math for playing Big Country. I think my goal will be to get 11 wood, play Mini Pasture for my first fencing action. Rammed Clay is nice for Marushka. Love this card in base set. Hoping for 3 wood here, and Marushka takes 2 reed. This is a clear sign to me that Marushka's playing Childless. Childless is very strong. Childless, if you have at least 3 rooms and only 2 people, you get a crop and a food at the start of each round. Marushka playing Childless strats is something to be worried about. Childless is very strong. It's pretty funny how quickly I can tell the strategies in this set. Sometimes in the first couple moves, I already know what's happening. If I'm watching my game as a fly on the wall, not knowing anything in my hand, I'm already suspicious of Big Country as a play for me. Assistant Tiller Plow is like a totally good opening, but to do it from the first seat is a tiny bit suspicious. Then to pass on Occupation here is also suspicious. In such a limited card pool, I'm very familiar with how things go. Studying this card pool is part of how I have this shirt as the US champion. We have a Lutenist play from Nuevo Alejo. As stated, my opinions on Lutenist are very low, so I don't like this move. Hey, Obsolete Human, what cards would be banned from this deck? Caravan, the minor improvement, is just beyond dumb. So Caravan is the automatic ban, and I would recommend banning Braggart as well, even though it's nerfed a tiny bit. In Draft 9, Draft 10 settings, maybe sometimes Draft 8 settings, it's too strong. Draft 7, I think, is a really nice place for Braggart to still be strong, but not too strong. The fact that this implementation comes with like 12 draft modes is both awesome, but also means Braggart is very possibly ban-worthy here. We have sheep flipping in round 3, which is not what these two players had in mind while taking clay. Marushka keeps start player, which means I get to take more wood. There's the Childless. Marushka's going to build a room as second action. I could build a stable here. But I won't. I'm going to keep taking wood. So there's a couple things that you have to keep in mind when going for Big Country strategies. There's a couple things. So because you go literally all out insane on finishing your farm, most of the time you don't get to grow. And that can cause problems a lot of times because the best Big Country games happen when at the end of the game everyone's already grown to 4 or 5 people, and you can actually get uncontested family growth without room sometimes. We get to go around that because we have Sleeping Corner today. Caravan is also too strong when it comes to big country related stuff. So chalk up another reason why Caravan's bad. It enables the big country strategies way too nicely. So looking at what other players have done here, Nuevo Alejo has been able to get Storehouse Keeper twice. It's very good. Crazy Tro, I'm not sure what they're up to. Small Scale Farmer Conservator. It's a bit of a non-bow. Like, eventually it's fine to play those, but I don't see the immediate value. Maybe I'll get proven wrong. But I think that's pretty rare. I would expect this to be Bottles, actually. This is probably start player Bottles. Nope, start player Herring Pot. Fair enough. Going fishing first action seems good. Marushka takes a grain and a veg, I would expect. Or a grain and a food, I should say. Crazy does take 4 food plus fishing. That's the right move. You don't want to risk that too long. It means Marushka and I both get 4 wood, though. Childless is the only way for... Yeah, exactly. There's a player-made card on playagricola.com called Rent Keeper, which has the same condition as Childless of wanting empty rooms. But Childless only works for the first empty room you have. So we'll see if Marushka can adapt to it. Spoiler alert, he probably can. Nuevo Lejo playing Firewood Collector here. This is a good occupation. I like this one. You're probably going to go on these spaces 5 times during the game. Sack Cart from Crazy, I think, is not amazing. This early wood is so much better spent on other stuff. So far I've been auto-hitting day labor for the fields. I'm highly considering 3 wood here, because Nuevo has to take a food move. And I don't want this wood pile to get to 6 for Crazy or Marushka to take. And I need to get my wood for the remainder of my pastures anyway. I'm still online to hit big country by round 7. You're starting to question the other players? Yeah, it was going to happen eventually, honestly. Growth flips in 5. I'm only mad about it because Nuevo and Crazy are not close to building a room. And I guess Childless is less great this way. Can I zoom big country again? Sure. A point and 2 food for each complete round left to play. So the goal is to play this in round 6 or 7. We're at it in round 7. So there's not much benefit to me playing mini pasture, actually, because I could just take more wood. One of the things that you want to accomplish in a big country plan is to make sure nobody else has wood. Marushka taking 3 wood is good. I think I would have taken 3 wood, but I am just going to mini pasture here. It does add wood to the game, which is not really my goal, but it's fine. I'll fence up here, plow down here. So yeah, this is pretty warping to your strategy if you can pull it off. There's a lot of like things you have to micromanage in terms of the game. Looks like there's a little display bug here. We'll see if a refresh kicks that off for the firewood collector. Things got reordered, but everything's still there in total. So that was a greengrocer play from Nuevo Lejo. I think they are focusing too much on crops here. Crazy Tro taking the clay instead of the wood. Now Marushka has this funny decision to either stop childless or keep it going, but I think he makes the right choice by stopping childless and growing. Did BoardGameArena reach out to Chris about determining RNG? Look, this is pretty counterintuitive, but I don't mind the early growth flip. I guess maybe I do if Marushka's the only one growing. And this is another risk of big country strats, is that you're not really in control sometimes. I'm going to fence here and look at taking the sheep. Hey Econ Sean, this is beta mode. We have made it to beta mode. Which means that anyone with a premium account can start games. I'm not sure if non-premiums can join the games. That might be the case. We have some fun occupations to play coming up. It's going to be a little tedious as Marushka has a huge action advantage on everyone incoming. Plenty of food in this game will be pretty common to see in Revised Edition. One nice thing about taking the sheep is that no one has capacity or a fireplace yet. So I'm slightly decreasing the amount of food in the game, but we still have 6 food on traveling players, so you know how much is food actually reduced this game. And I'm going to get 14 food next round. Does it play well? It plays pretty well. I was saying earlier I've gotten to talk with the developers very often. Ooh, I love that Marushka's not getting that space. And I've been helping out with a lot of the rules stuff behind the scenes to make sure that on the base level everything is understood well. There's still a couple janky things that I have hope will be fixed up. For example, Caravan is not banned. No card extension, yeah. I do have a secret list of my card rankings for all 96 cards in this set, which I have ranked based on playability and usefulness and cards, like ceiling of value. So I am intending to make a video with Rainier and possibly Chris Ho on explaining that tier list. And maybe Ryan will be adapting it or not using it at all for his own list. And the ban list and whatever's strong depends on everything else in the sets. I really think in revised base game, you look at how many ways there are to get grain. Storehouse Keeper isn't the best one. I don't think its replacement value is very high. Value over replacement level, I should say. Alright, so I'm going third this round. First action, Day Labor Plow. Second action, Improvement. Crazy Tro should build a room and grow. It does give Marushka 6 wood, but if Crazy Churro takes the 6 wood, oh no. Oh no, this is not what we wanted. Oh no. It's hard to win Agricola without actions. Big Country is a rare case of being able to. You need huge point ceiling. And there are no cards that give point ceiling when you're in a stone house in this set. Marushka's on 4 actions. He has 1 of each crop. We need to beat him with point ceiling. My plan is to continue taking wood to a high degree. Oh, this is getting really bad. What about taking start player here? Like, the field is fine. If he wants to follow it up with a sow, okay. But I think plowing a field on the space, and paying 2 food for start player is not terrible. It is 5 read on that stack. That is a 5. At least I don't get blocked from major improvement, because that would be really bad. Alright, part 1 of the game plan executed. I can spend the next few rounds taking more wood, playing some occupations, sowing some crops. Yeah, I gotta squint. This is the only way I could figure out everything to get on the screen. Oh, I didn't even check if, like, this is a good placement of stuff. This is actually a good placement of stuff, because you can see Marushka's animals. Yeah, okay. And then the chat window is what I need to figure out in terms of placing. We'll go with this for now. Marushka is kind of skirting by for now, and he's going to build another room here. We need to hope that Marushka doesn't have enough wood to finish his game. His feeding will be done with Basket Maker's Workshop, I assume, so if I can figure out any way to interfere with that, that would be great. The animals auto-collecting in the right places is fairly new, but I think it's pretty well done. Shrink the chat here? Sure. I mean, there's only so much I can shrink it, but is this still readable? Clay Hut Builder from Crazy Churro, I don't see how the clay can efficiently be used here. Maybe a pottery is in the plans. The clay stacks are big. I don't have that much to do with them. Marushka can use the clay because he has rammed clay. So this is actually a great way to avoid needing wood if you can get a bunch of clay instead. Clay to stone card, hard porcelain. Yeah, that is in the set. I don't remember if it was in the draft or not. I need to figure out which occupation I'm playing first. It's probably Grocer. I can play Scythe Worker later. I have plenty of food because I'm only feeding 4 food per harvest. If I can play both Grocer and Scythe Worker, is that like overkill? It's probably overkill. I don't need to play Scythe Worker until next stage and I get the same benefit. This draft format was 7 from 8 with occupations first. But as Rainier says, there's so many options. All right, time to decide where my game goes from here. Crazy got the 3 stone, and I think I'm okay with that because it gives me hope that he'll build a stone room and grow into it. Taking the 4 wood's tempting. Taking the 5 clay might be okay. I just want a lot of stone. I need more point ceiling. Which means I can play Sheepwalker. Can I get a sow next round? I think I can get a sow next round. It's a little risky. It's fun seeing how the rankings are so dynamic. Yeah, I mean, ELO is not a great measure to start with, and then, you know, there's so many, or such a high K factor, as they call it. Crazy Tro not taking the well here means I should probably go for it. Marushka taking start player. I do like being second. I was thinking about Lumber Mill. Mining Hammer is a really nice minor improvement. I do approve of this play from Marushka. He's doing fine. Marushka possibly has Braggart also. This just looks like it could be rough. So we open the exchange center here for Sheepwalker. Take a few stone. Buy the well. We're going to take more sheep next round. Keep breeding stone. The K value is a ELO calculation factor, and it changes on this site based on how many games of experience you have. I don't know the actual math behind it, but I think the K factor when you start out a game is something like 40 and goes down to 20 as you get more games. This is just nasty. Most of the time, one would expect Marushka to have a very clean win here. Time to get good at 2-player Agricola. I mean, it's definitely a different art. I wonder if the implementation lets... Okay, this is good. I was worried about this. The last thing on BoardGameGeek regarding Scholar suggests that one is not allowed to do this, Scholar into Plow Driver. My interpretation of the rules is that you should definitely be able to. Can I do anything except take 5 wood here? It means I don't sow until next stage, but because I have Scythe Worker, I think I can do that. You hate 2 and 3 player? I think they're both decent. I think 4 player is by far the best. I think it comes with attention that other player counts don't have. The fact that Nuevo is renovating here instead of building a room, or I guess it was foreseeable. I hope Crazy doesn't take the sheep here. Is there a compendium? I mean, I do maintain the revised edition compendium. What happened to our sheep? They expend, they became stone, so I'd have a well. Crazy is taking an oven here. I don't like that the oven's coming in before sowing the crops, but I guess that's not really something you can manage to do immediately. Also, I'm very glad I have Master Bricklayer, because if this got around to Marushka, it would be even tougher to deal with his game. Well, BGA should adapt directly from my compendium, because my compendium has the correct rules for 99% of the time. How does the resource market change? So, yeah, you get reed food or stone food, and that's better than the original version of the resource market in 3-player. The original resource market in 3-player was take a resource of your choice and no food. Just adding a single food to 3-player resource market space makes it a viable thing early on, and that really improves the 3-player game. In addition, the card set here is just more friendly. It's less antagonistic to people wanting to get reed and food, which is the tightness of 3-player games in the original. If I don't take these sheep, I don't think I ever get them. I would want to greed them, but I think I just take them here. It's the same as having a 3-stone action last round. I mean, 4-player, it's a really great space early in the game, and it's like pretty solid throughout the game. Change to 2 boar. Yeah, I should change to 2 boar. 2 of these to boar. I actually don't think I need to do that immediately. So if I turn them into boar now, they breed 4 times. And I don't need them to breed 4 times. I only need them to breed 3 times. Marushka coming with a bread paddle. That'll be nice to keep him fed once he finds more grain. He doesn't have any grain support right now, but, I mean, I think he's going to be okay. Really like 5-player. 5-player is good. I like the new edition of 5-player. I don't expect it to come to BoardGameArena anytime soon. Also, another reason why I didn't want to take the boar is that before these fences happened, the boar, like, these are still, like, likely to come around to me. I'm still obviously doing quite well on food. I want more point ceiling still. Curious to see what Marushka does here. Probably renovates first action. He does have 15 fencing materials and 5 things to renovate with, which is pretty impressive. Crazy getting the groom off here. This is a lot of good stone house stuff, but I don't think it compares to building a room first and doing it a bit later. Marushka really wants that Basket Maker's Workshop is my read. Could take 3 boar here, but it's probably just more important for me to play Grocer. I'm only on 2 actions. I have to hope that Crazy takes the boar. And then Scythe Worker next round. I could play Scythe Worker second action here. Maybe I should have taken the other occupation. No, I already have 2. Hey, Hank DeVries. Yeah, welcome. I didn't expect to play a big country strategy this game. I don't think it's very good for explaining how to play Agricola well. But this is a pretty warping card if you can get it down early and come in with enough point ceiling and grow in the end. So, given that I have the cards to do most of that, I elected to go with it. So I played it in round 7, got 7 points and 14 food. That food will fuel my grocer, it'll fuel my late game adoptive parents. Marushka Reno's here. Basket Maker's Workshop, almost a guarantee in my opinion. Free stable from Mining Hammer. We have to hope that Marushka continues to be slightly inefficient on feeding. There's no other way for me to win this, really. It's one of my last chances to play Lumber Mill, but I'd really like to get my sowing done. And with Crazy being so eligible, I think I have to play Scythe Worker here if I want to sow 2 grain in time for Sleeping Corner. The grocer menu comes up here, which I think I like. A little sad to pay an extra food for this, but I think overall having the 5 wood action from last round will make this worth it. Hey, a room from someone not named Marushka. Yeah, and along with Sleeping Corner, adoptive parents should help with the late actions if I want them, if I even want them. What major improvements are still available? Pottery still around and joinery still around. These are things I'll angle for. In general, I see Revised Edition having a lot of extra building resources, meaning joinery and pottery are better than, and Basket Maker's Workshop are better than they are in the original version. So sadly, Lumber Mill's off the team. Definitely like Lumber Mill a lot. Why would you ever build a room when you could just not build a room? You're really trying to do the big brain stuff here today, Phil. Marushka getting some plows in. He might sow. First action next round. KLJ. Look, I really just need to get some wallpaper, repaint my room. This is like so affecting the mood. Oh, Marushka's gonna buy clay oven right now and then take more grain. I think. Nope. Bad read. Marushka does have the hand plow field coming in round 13. That'll be nice for him. Nuevos Claven? He does, indeed. My bad. Marushka fencing 14 here. Clear indication that he thinks he's on pace to get 5 fields. Which is probably correct, given that Crazy is running plow driver. I'm fielded out. He didn't need moldboard plow. My first action is going to be sow. Marushka might, but there's 2 6 wood piles. So I don't really know. I don't know what the deal is right now. Marushka, I mean, really increases his winning odds if he sows, to be honest. Milk Jug in play. Because the card set is so small, Milk Jug gets played pretty often and throws a lot of food into the game. I think Milk Jug is actually pretty decent. It reliably throws a lot of food in. Alright, let's buy our grocer stuff. Nuevo is also harvested out here, so let's see. So this is the veg. I can go down to 3 food and sow the second veg. I think I will. If I have to eat a raw grain, that's okay. We will consider converting 2 sheep to 2 boar this harvest to get up to 5 boar by the end of the game. Nuevo taking start player, or grow mini pasture here, first move, just can't be right. the the wrong sequence no matter what. Yeah, the wood is ultra disrespected by everyone here. Wow. Definitely considering buying joinery, yeah. I think that's probably the right move. Good move from Marushka. Yeah, not much I can say about that. That's just the right move at the right time. Like, what am I going to do here? Take 2 sheep? The problem is this only buys me 1 extra stable. And 2 sheep is just a point in a different way. Don't really have a food move here. Cow feels a little underwhelming. You think I need to take 2 single cows? I don't. Nothing on the board gets my game going besides, like, adoptive parents, but that's not good either. Whatever. Cow comes with the food? Oh. Well, I think I'm getting that food no matter what. Then. Are there any cards in these packs that let you trade a field in? No. What's up, Heroic Logic? We made it to BGA. Yep, we did. There's the milk jug. We don't have to eat a raw grain. We still kind of need growth to come in round 12 here. Alright, Rainier's correct about the cows, but I guess I just won't get them. That's okay. Alright, I will transform the boars here. Whoops. Ooh, my time is not good. I'll get to those comments in a second, Hank and Rainier. Okay, my time bank is better. Sad that we can't adopt if growth flips. That is true. I did mess that up. I'm short on time because I took a long turn. Yeah. I do like the game more with the VP off. Alright, growth does flip. That's good. It's good to see how we score the VP. I find that it's really hard to see how we score the VP, even if you're seeing it happen. Because the things that score you the VP actually happen before the VP come in. The biggest idea to go from like intermediate to good at Agricola is the idea of point containers. Because these fields and these pastures don't just provide points on their own, they give you ways to hold and expand your point potential. So to see the VP go up when you build like 9 fences in round 8 isn't huge, but what that actually does for your score over time is a huge deal. So is seeing 20 VP on a Reno fence? That's true. Point buckets. Welcome, George Shortwell, indeed. All the Agricola point buckets. Marushka has the point buckets. He will be... I expect Marushka to win this game with a braggart. I actually need a bit of food for this harvest. Ideally, I get to Reno with a cookery. I mean, Marushka clearly has new braggart, so... What's the Water 2 variant? Oh, the Water 2 variant is Big Country, right? Like, I would never play this kind of farm without Big Country. Absolute never. I could consider pottery, though. And just eat a bunch of raw stuff. I'll see if I can get pottery. It's the last big point ceiling item available. For me. Marushka's looking at... probably 55-ish. I can probably hit 50 without too much trouble, but I don't see an extra 5 points for me. Which is going to be an issue. I don't think I need adoptive parents this game, actually. I will get to grow to 5 people in a 2-room wood clown house. Who said, oh yeah, I mean, I kind of said it wasn't staying wood, didn't I? I will take 2 cows if they're available next round. 2 cows stables grow, but I think the 1 cow's probably getting taken at some point here by Marushka. I need to make sure I don't get stable blocked, actually. We have a Dutch windmill play from Nuevo, which I think is pretty weak as cards go. Marushka does in fact grab a cow. Adding food to the game, that's good for me, actually. Though it's also quite good for Marushka. Marushka's got food requirements and little else. Braggart has to be one of the possibilities for how we got grosser. Because I think Crazy Cho picked Scholar Plow Driver 1-2 in some order. I don't remember seeing either of those. I might actually know. Scholar I saw. Plow Driver was 1 or 2. Then Firewood Collector I don't think I saw, but I saw the others. Marushka taking some Reed here, followed by Reedstone Food, working up to the renovation. I didn't really decide what I'm doing with this move here, given that I do have the options. It's probably just 6 clay. 2 worker strategies are not viable. Because even if I'm running 2 workers for most of this game, my plan is to get at least 4 people by the end. Even if we didn't get lucky with this 50-50 flip on Wish for Children being 12 instead of 13. I'm expecting Marushka to start player first action. Clay Pipe for Crazy Chwo. I am going to pass Plauso on to Nuevo Alejo and Family Growth, because I don't think I'm losing to either of these players, though Crazy Chwo is actually coming up with some kind of farm here. Maybe I should be worried about him. How big is my screen? This is 1920 by 1080 on a 24-inch monitor, zoomed out to 67%, with the options of other player boards next to the central board, hand cards under the board. These 3 things in combination is what I'm enjoying most here. Admittedly, I don't need more than the pictures to know exactly what's going on. Marushka gets Plauso here, so he doesn't need it next round. Or benefits even more from it next round. It's kind of gross. Alright, so if I take Pottery, I have 5 food and can eat 2 raw grain, and then if I sow a bunch of grain next round somehow, I'll be fine. I think I do need to take the risk and take the Pottery. It doesn't affect my sheep points. I could hope for Fireplace next round. Another thing I need to do here is build stables. Which is not good if I want to prioritize building stables and feed easily. Because Marushka's probably... Well, no, Marushka doesn't really need the stables. He doesn't have too many animals, and he has a joinery. So he would do it to block, potentially, but I am going to grow. Can't say I was expecting Marushka to take the 4 clay, though. That is completely unexpected, though I probably should have expected it for him to buy a cookery. What do you need usually to make 3 worker strats work? So that's a great question. There's a couple things that factor into each game in what's going to be the most optimal to win. One thing you really want to look at is which round Wish for Children flips in. The earlier it flips in, the higher potential the game has in terms of scoring victory points. You want to look at that mostly because a lot of the other stuff that I would normally suggest to care about is constant. That being how many resources and food is in the game, but in revised edition games, the answer to that is always there's a ton. So you want to look at when Wish for Children flips. When Wish for Children flips in round 7, it becomes a good candidate to stay on 3 workers. If growth flips early, it's going to be hard to win with 3 workers or less. We have another milk jug trigger here. I'm actually not looking at taking a cow move necessarily. I mean, I'm kind of interested, but I guess if I build stables, it'll be fine. I should take a cow next round, in addition to sowing. Basically, it's easiest to win with 3 workers if you have massive point ceiling or growth flips late. And the massive point ceiling is really hard to find in Revised Edition, let me tell you. You need Big Country or Mantelpiece. And like a loom or something like that. It's really hard to do. Marushka takes a fireplace here. I should have actually seen this coming a little more. Marushka is 1 improvement away from maxing Braggart. Do I have enough food to sow stable cow grow? Maybe. Is maybe a viable answer here? If I sow, I do get to sow 5 grain. Now that Milk Jug happened, I only need to eat 1 raw here. And if I sow 5 grain, then I will have 7 extra food from that. I'm getting... Oh no, my well ran dry. Is Marushka playing Braggart here? He is. Oh my gosh, on the expensive ox space to flex. If I don't get a sow here, then that's kind of troubling. But I also don't have any doubts that if the seating order were reversed, we'd be having the reverse outcome. We didn't agree on banning Braggart. It's only draft 8, so Braggart is a little harder to execute well. I could spend a point of sheep to renovate. I would get a point from playing Threshing Board. First priority is Sow Bake, but I'm probably not getting that, given that I'm going 4th this round. So there is a solution to this ban stuff, and that, well, I say solution, it's a step, is to upvote the suggestion that we should have card ban lists in competitive play. So if you haven't already, I think it is a good suggestion that I formalized in that bug report to create a ban list for competitive play. Would appreciate upvotes on that. And I think everyone watching would appreciate it also. If Crazy decides to family growth here, then I will get a sow action. The amount of 6 wood is just ridiculous. The fact that none of us built a 3rd room out of wood is really bad. So this plow sow is not great news here. It makes plenty of sense for Crazy. He's got enough crops to sow to get points from... It's like a 3-point move, which makes it the same as growth for him. If Marushka sows, I will make sure I get my stables down. Take 5 or 4 food later from the ward, and just be a little bit more sad. Because sow is basically 2 points and enough food for me, whereas I don't have that on the other options. I think my stables move is safer. Marushka's taking Renovate here. Very kind, I could say. Probably playing whatever last minor improvement he has in hand. Also gets the Mining Hammer stable. Pond Hut for exactly 2 occupations. Wow. Alright, Nuevo not coming in with the stable clamps. Marushka might. That would be funny. No, Marushka's plowing. Very solid game from Marushka. This looks like high 50s now. Marushka can build a stable, so I will respect that. Nuevo doesn't like fences. I mean, that's pretty clear, right? So I should be fed on the pottery and 7 raw grain. I will be able to harvest a bunch extra with Scythe Worker. This is an interesting fence layout. I guess it's technically legal. It does win more manger points. Seeing how the game is played out, do you think it would have been worth it to build a big 3rd room and big country a round or 2 later? I'd probably do a little better. No. I mean, Marushka was always going to win this by a bit, I think. Yeah, I also doubt I do any better. I mean, the reason that this game is going to be won by Marushka is that the 2 players between us are taking weakish actions relative to the table, or to me and Marushka. The amount of 6 resources at a time that we've both had this game is not right. I'm basically getting my dream here. Actually, no, Reno Threshing Board is the same amount of points. Also, I can't Reno Threshing Board. Braggart is pretty busted when you get actions and nobody else does. I mean, getting actions while nobody else does is busted enough. There is an ELO now that we've made it to beta mode, and that's part of the reason I was waiting. I didn't want to play a game that had slightly more bugs and no ELO system. For now, there isn't a big card set. It will improve soon. I expect... okay, so an important fact is that expansions will come to BoardGameArena if Agricola gets played a lot. So if the games keep flowing and there's lots of players, people like the implementation, that's when the publishers will go on and approve work towards adding expansions. Because the developers are not working for free here. The developers are getting paid. And Agricola has to justify that there is a lot of interest and Therefore, they get a higher cut of the money from premium accounts based on the number of Agricola games played. So if that number continues to increase, that's when we'll see expansions. Simple Agriconomics, exactly, Mike. So in the end, this game goes pretty well for me. This is more or less what you want to achieve in a big country game. Get to 5, have some point ceiling in cards. It's going to be a good score for me, I think. This is interesting. Is this just a display bug? I do need to harvest additional grain. This might be a display bug for clown houses. The game thinks we have 5 people, which is important. You're telling me I need to partially play this set a bunch even if you get sick of it just to help? No. I'm not saying you have to play a bunch more games, but if you do enough for the community to where the community collectively plays more games, use the networking, right? Use the amount of people we can reach here to help us make sure that enough games get played. If the paid devs were working on this, that explains why it's already beta. Well, Lawton, there have been a lot of bugs, but you really want to look at how many have been accounted for each day, and I think their work rate is really impressive. Honestly. Marushka fed pretty hassle-free for this whole game, which is impressive given how aggressively he grew. I mean, it might be impressive to some of you. It's kind of normal and expected in a lot of ways also. I feel like I do hit 50 here, just my gut instinct. I haven't done the math. I expect to lose to Marushka by about 5, beat Crazy by maybe 3 to 4. They weren't trivial stuff. Sure, I mean, that's part of the agreement, right? You have to click a button that says, I accept that there might be game-ending bugs in alpha mode, and that there haven't been the game-ending bugs in beta mode, at least as far as I know, I think is a good sign. How good is my prediction? Alright, so I scored 57. I'm happy. Okay, I scored 57 with Big Country. I'm doing great. This is why you don't let someone else grow too much. I misestimated the differentials here by a bit. Oh, revised edition, base set. GG Marushka, nicely done. Imagine growing to 5 people before anyone else gets a person. If you didn't see Big Country, you'd grow in 6. You had Tutor and Paper Maker. I mean, good job figuring out that you had plenty of ceiling this way. Second pick Stonecutter, your draft is hilarious, Marushka, I'm sure. I don't even want to look. You only had to play Childless and Braggart. Yeah, exactly. I think you played your hand pretty well. Was it a fast game? 77 minutes? I mean, this was not fast in the sense that we all had a million actions. Uh... JFG. JFG. Uh, yeah. JFG. And then JFT6W. So this, I'm not exactly sure what stats I like most here. If you have suggestions for stats to add into the endgame screen, that would be cool. There is no way to calculate card stats in this edition just because the BoardGameArena backend is not effective enough. But all right, usually I only play one game on stream here. I was thinking about doing two today. Yeah, I agree, Marishka. You did it. You did it just fine. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I am a little more tired than I would expect after that experience. Not sure I want to go through that again. I was not planning on doing Play Agricola today, but thank you, Mike. If any of you watching want to play a Play Agricola game right now, Mike needs one. Go join him. In the meantime, I should actually probably fix my overlay a bit, make it a little more clean here, see how this game turns out. And I do expect to stream more BoardGameArena going forward. I'll post this one to YouTube as like an alert that, you know, it's happening, it's happening. And I will hope to catch you all tomorrow or later in the week for more Agricola. Site TBD. I'll possibly just do whatever I feel like depending on the day, with a little bit more focus on BoardGameArena for the next week or two. And then maybe tail off a bit depending on how not continued, but I've played a lot of this set of cards, revised base set, so I'm likely to burn out on it fast if I'm being honest. But I'll try to provide entertainment and knowledge for everyone so that you all can play enough games so that we get the expansions. Thanks everyone. I don't know who's currently streaming. If anyone. Doesn't look like Agricola people are streaming. So I will see you all next time. Goodbye.